Imagine you're driving a brand new Corvette, bright red, down an open highway. You start to test the car and see how it handles. The acceleration is like a dream, and you don't even want to think of braking. Suddenly, you see flashing lights up ahead. You take your foot off the gas pedal and ease onto the brake until you're well within the speed limit. You pass the police car and continue on your way. Divergent and convergent thinking are a lot like driving a car. When you diverge, you come up with as many ideas as you can without limiting yourself. In other words, you hit the gas. When you converge, you begin to narrow down your options using specific criteria. You begin to brake. Both styles of thinking are essential for producing effective results. However, it is critical that you only engage in one style of thinking at a time. If you don't keep them apart, you will tend to judge every idea too quickly, and that will limit your creativity. It would be a bit like hitting the gas and brake pedals together. You would use a lot of energy, but you really wouldn't go anywhere. Unfortunately, we all have a natural tendency to evaluate our ideas as soon as we have them. This is particularly true when thinking about problems that are really important. Divergence and convergence are known as the dynamic balance, and they are present in every stage of the creative problem-solving process. As I mentioned in the previous lesson, brainstorming is one of the many tools that can be used in creative problem-solving, but it is not the creative problem-solving process itself. It is a divergent tool, one of many. Our next video will focus on convergent thinking and one of its most common tools. But for now, let's take a closer look at diverging. In order to diverge most productively, there are guidelines that we must follow. When diverging, it is important to defer judgment, go for quantity, strive for wild and crazy ideas, and seek combinations. Remember at the beginning of the course when we told you about deferring judgment or suspending evaluation? This is where that comes into play. Quantity, or producing many alternatives, is also important during divergent thinking, as research shows that quantity breeds quality. Striving for wild and crazy is what often leads to more novel solutions, and seeking combinations or building off other ideas offers perspectives that may not have been previously considered. In divergent thinking, allowing for incubation time can be incredibly helpful. We will discuss incubation in a later session. So, does divergent thinking sound easy? Let's give it a try. Let's take a couple of minutes to practice separating divergent and convergent thinking. We'll start with a divergent exercise. Remember to defer judgment, strive for quantity, strive for wild and crazy ideas, and seek combinations. You'll need a pad of paper for this exercise. In the next 5 minutes, generate as many ideas as you can for the following challenge statement. What might be all the ways to improve a shower? All right, your 5 minutes is up. How did you do? How many ideas did you come up with? Reflect on what just happened. What helped you generate that number of ideas? What hindered you? Now that you have practiced using your gas pedal, it's time to put the brakes on. Please watch the Convergent Thinking lesson next.